course, skipped the last 2 clay court seasons, returns at Madrid playing Gael Monfils today, and Roger in trouble. Down 4-1 in the third, had to fight off 2 match points, but finally prevails in a tiebreaker. Very close call.
Wow.
But Fed carry on to the quarterfinals.
Wow. Okay, move on to some basketball again. Negotiations between the Lakers and Tyronn Lue have ended without an agreement to make him the next head coach. Deal was almost done, at least that's what people are saying, but deteriorated over Luke's coaching staff and money. Lakers reportedly offered 3 years, $18 million, with the idea of bringing on Jason Kidd as an assistant. Those terms did not sit well with Tyronn Lue. So we want to get to the bottom of this, have some context. We welcome in our Adrian Wojnarowski. So the Lakers coaching situation has gone from bad to worse. Ty Lue turns down their offer. Where do they go from here?
Carrie, I'm told that Frank Vogel, the former Orlando, Indiana head coach, is on a plane now to L.A. He'll meet with Laker officials in the next day. And candidates like Jason Kidd, who has interviewed before, they may circle back with him, with a Juwan Howard. Another coach who's been out of the league for a couple years, Lionel Hollins, is also expected to speak with the Lakers, I'm told.
Okay, so those are the options, not necessarily LeBron's reported top options. Could you provide some insight on how, in just a season, Woj, the Lakers go from hopeful with signing LeBron and a young core to this gray area that I describe as a mess?
Well, it's leadership, and it starts at the ownership level with Jeannie Buss, and decisions that have been made at that level that have had ramifications. Magic Johnson walks out on the job, and there was a lot of dysfunction there. Magic Johnson wasn't around very often in the job and was not fully invested in it, and you're seeing the ripple effects of that from his departure, and now a vacuum of leadership with Linda Rambis, Kurt Rambis, Rob Pelinka, the general manager. There are a lot of voices and a lot of different people making significant decisions, and that's why you've seen what's really been a scattered result.
A scattered result is a perfect way to describe it. The other big story from last night, Kevin Durant, he exits Game 5 early, calf injury. What's the latest on his status moving forward?
Kerry, he's going to undergo an MRI in the Bay Area here in the next couple of hours. They're going to know this afternoon the extent of the damage to that right calf, and then the Warriors will proceed from there. But certainly there's an expectation they're not going to have him again in the conference semifinals. If they're able to win, then they get on to the conference finals, and hopefully he can play at some point, but they won't know until later today.
All right, crazy turn of events for Golden State as well as the Lakers. Our Adrian Wojnarowski joining us here, giving us the latest. We appreciate it. Folks, our coverage continues of the conference semifinals. That's tonight. There are 2, Game 6 right here on ESPN. Sixes, how do you say that? Sixes. Raptors, Sixers, and then Nuggets, Blazers. Make sure you watch it. It all begins with NBA Countdown. David?
All right, Kerry, thank you. The reigning UFC strawweight champ is Rose Gertrude Namajunas. When your middle name is Gertrude, you better be tough. Namajunas is that and then some. She's earned the nickname Thug Rose for her MMA persona. But outside the cage, she has depths that belie an octagon warrior. Brett Okamoto spent some time with her at her home in Colorado to learn more about what makes Rose so unique.
Warm up a little bit. So I haven't played in a while. But.
How long have you been playing?
Since I started piano around the same time that I started martial arts. Yeah.
They're always going to sleep on Rose. I think it's her face, it's her youth. She's not talking. She's not walking around being loud and boisterous because she's not playing the role of the UFC fighter. Rose lives her life. All you have to do is just be yourself. Just be Rose, and Rose is the world champion.
Rose Namajunas is the UFC's reigning strawweight champion and a phenom of sorts in MMA. At just 26, she's the youngest champion on the UFC's roster. A first-generation American from a tough area in Milwaukee.
How did you get into martial arts?
Originally, I think my mom wanted me to do like ballet or whatever. My stepdad was kind of a drill sergeant type of a guy and thought that we needed some discipline so we wouldn't get into trouble and get wrapped up in things that were going on in our neighborhood. I was always a really shy child. Didn't really speak that much. Like, nobody ever thought that I could do anything, or I was just some little white chick. I'd get pushed to the point where I'd excel and I'd blossom.
Rose's training and passion in martial arts blossoms into a career in the UFC, where she made her debut at age 22.
She came in so young. She was like one of the youngest females, in the UFC division at one point. To get thrown in there at that age, I think is pretty brutal. It's hard to go through, the lion's den to try to get to the top, and that's exactly what she did.
Getting into fighting, it was always about the fight. It never was about like a belt or a championship. But then when I got to UFC, it was like, oh, this is not as easy as I thought. So, the belt does mean something in that sense. Like, it's like a challenge. It's hard to get.
And the girl's special. The day we met, the first punch she threw, I knew it. You have everything it takes to be a world champion.
Despite her body of work, Rose is a perennial underdog. She's emotional and openly fearful before each fight, which usually stands in stark contrast to the demeanor of UFC champions.
She's a crier, man. She's so passionate about what she does because she puts her heart and soul into perfecting her craft.
It's a traumatic experience, like getting into a fist fight. Facing your fears and putting yourself in those scary situations is when you really find out who you are and know yourself better. And so that's why I do it.
This weekend, Rose will attempt to defend her title against Brazilian contender Jessica Andrade in Brazil. It's rare to see an MMA champion defend their title on the road, but for Rose, it's an opportunity she relishes.
She had asked to fight in Brazil, which I thought was very unique. She fights the best when she's in chaotic situations, and when she had environments that were relaxed, she didn't perform that well, and it clicked. I said, that's what she said, we're going to Brazil.
Right now, Jessica Andrade is the #1 contender. She's a knockout artist. She's a powerhouse. She's the biggest threat Rose has ever faced. This is the one where, at the end of this fight, people are going to know she's the real deal.
I'm confident in myself and I believe in myself. And really, it doesn't matter, where the fight is. There's no safe environment for the fight. I believe in myself and I believe in my abilities, and I have everything that it takes to win this fight.
So, Saturday in Brazil, UFC 237, Rose Namajunas defending her strawweight belt against the #1 contender, Jessica Andrade. Main event pay-per-view. ESPN and ESPN Deportes will have the prelims starting at 8 Eastern. To order the main event, go to espnplus.com/PPV.
David, I'm going to that and /PPV. Coming up next, though, let's talk about Gronk. He's gone. How does that mean, or what does that mean for other tight ends in the fantasy draft? We explain it, guys.